In a world where adventurers were revered and levels determined one's worth, Ye Qing was at the bottom of the hierarchy, level 0, a mere abyss picker. His days were spent scavenging in dungeons, gathering scraps left behind by more skilled adventurers. It was a thankless job, but one that kept him alive in a society that valued strength above all else. One day, Ye Qing found himself in unfamiliar territory, a B-rank dungeon. It was his first time in such a dangerous place, and he felt the weight of his inadequacy. Armed with a battered weapon, he encountered a formidable B-rank monster. Try as he might, his attacks barely scratched the creature. He was outmatched and overwhelmed, struggling to survive. However, beneath the scornful gaze of his peers, Ye Qing harbored an indomitable spirit. With sheer determination, he landed a blow on the monster, dealing a paltry but significant damage. To understand how Ye Qing ended up in this predicament, we must rewind to his daily life. As an abyss picker, he sorted through loot from dungeon expeditions, ensuring every piece was accounted for. Failure meant severe consequences, including imprisonment, a risk he couldn't afford with his mounting debts. Years of this mundane existence were punctuated by a staggering debt of 670,000 yuan looming over him. Every day, he toiled with the sole purpose of paying off this debt, exacerbated by the exorbitant medical bills for his gravely ill sister. She needed urgent medical treatment he couldn't afford, adding urgency to his quest for money. When a lucrative job offer promising 3,000 yuan came his way, he couldn't refuse despite the danger. The money was crucial not just for himself, but to save his sister's life. Entering the B-rank dungeon with a group of seasoned adventurers, Ye Qing hoped for acceptance and camaraderie. Instead, he was met with scorn and condescension. The elite hunters made it clear he was a burden, warning him to stay out of their way if he valued his life. During their journey, Ye Qing accidentally bumps into one of the hunters, causing them to lash out at him. Despite apologizing, he's treated with disdain and left behind by the group. Unbeknownst to them, every hardship and insult fuels his determination. As he continues in the dungeon, barely surviving encounters, Ye Qing roams the dungeon hoping to earn enough experience to level up from 0 to 1. This milestone raises questions. Will this newfound strength from leveling up from 0 to 1 change his fate? Or will he remain the same weakling in the eyes of others? After hours of relentless exploration and combat, the dungeon's echoing halls finally quieted as Ye Qing and his fellow hunters gathered around the fallen monsters. They began the arduous task of collecting materials vital for their trade. Suddenly, a monster appeared before them, having evaded the other hunters. Instinctively, Ye Qing reached for a nearby staff and shield, relics of past battles lying amidst the dungeon's debris. His colleagues, gripped by fear, hesitated before fleeing, leaving Ye Qing alone to face the advancing beast. With nowhere to retreat and adrenaline coursing through his veins, Ye Qing steadied himself, eyes fixed on the creature's approaching silhouette. In the tense moments that followed, Ye Qing's mind raced. He knew his current level was insufficient to inflict any meaningful harm on such a formidable foe. Yet, instead of succumbing to fear or fleeing in futility, he saw an opportunity, a chance to transcend his limitations and advance to the next level of his abilities. With a resolute breath, Ye Qing swung the staff with all his might, aiming for the monster's vulnerable points. Despite his efforts, the blows landed weakly against the creature's hardened carapace, barely causing a ripple. His colleagues, watching from a distance, shouted warnings, urging him to retreat. They knew, as did Ye Qing himself, that his strength was inadequate to breach even the weakest monster's defenses. But rather than retreat, he saw this as his chance to level up, needing just one more point. Though his strike with the staff was futile against the monster's defenses, Ye Qing knew he had to persevere to grow stronger. Meanwhile, in a separate chamber of the dungeon, the other hunters busied themselves with collecting valuable spoils. As they were collecting the materials, they were also exchanged mocking remarks, dismissing Ye Qing and his colleagues as inept scavengers unworthy of the guild's acclaim. Suddenly, the ceiling collapsed, and Ye Qing plummeted with the monster clinging to him. In that heart-stopping moment, Ye Qing summoned every ounce of strength and resolve. Determined not to perish as a mere footnote in the annals of dungeon lore, he unleashed a primal scream, a declaration of defiance against fate's cruel hand. As he fell, Ye Qing's trembling hands found the staff's grip once more. With a desperate surge of energy, he directed its splintered end toward the creature's unblinking eye. The blow struck true, a precise strike born of sheer willpower. A critical hit, exactly the catalyst needed to propel Ye Qing from the barren fields of level 0 to the promising foothills of level 1. As Ye Qing celebrated his victory, it was, however, proved short-lived as a fellow hunter approached, his smirk laden with derision. The hunter was deriding him for defeating a low-level monster. However, a screen appeared before Ye Qing, presenting numerous job options to enhance his strength. It explained how even a level 0 member could change jobs upon reaching level 1, though gaining experience was a daunting task. Despite the hunter's mockery ringing in his ears, Ye Qing knew the true significance of this moment. For years, he had braved the dungeon's perils, risking life and limb to amass the precious experience points needed for advancement. This opportunity was not merely a chance to change jobs but a testament to his perseverance and unwavering resolve. With a mixture of trepidation and hope, Ye Qing selected the role of Scavenger, a title that, though modest, promised unique abilities and untapped potential. Yet, as he contemplated the implications of his decision, doubt gnawed at him. Would this newfound path truly lead him to the strength he so desperately sought? Turning his gaze to the fallen monster, Ye Qing noticed a peculiar message hovering above its motionless form, a prompt inviting him to recycle the creature's remains. Intrigued, he accepted without hesitation, triggering a surge of power within him. The monster's corpse disintegrated, leaving behind a mysterious card adorned with intricate runes and symbols, a repository of skills and attribute points waiting to be harnessed. Eagerly, Ye Qing attempted to absorb these newfound abilities into his being, expecting an immediate surge of strength. To his surprise, the effects were more subtle, a dormant potential awaiting activation. Confounded yet undeterred, he felt a strange energy stirring within him, a testament to the latent power he had just unlocked. Upon recovering, Ye Qing noticed more monster corpses around him, each offering skills and points for absorption. Realizing the potential of his ability, he understood it was far from weak, it could catapult him to become one of the strongest hunters in the world. Ye Qing became stronger by absorbing monsters' corpses. When he touched a spirit wolf's body, he gained a new ability called Soul Dash. But after that, eating more of the same kind of monster didn't give him new skills or as many rewards. Still, Ye Qing kept absorbing corpses until his attribute points reached 111. With plenty of points to spend, Ye Qing thought about where to put them to make himself stronger. He decided to evenly distribute the points among all his skills: strength, agility, intelligence, willpower, constitution, and luck, all set at 20 points each. Meanwhile, in another part of the dungeon, the other hunters were busy fighting monsters and collecting materials. They heard that Ye Qing had found a hidden job. They knew these hidden jobs weren't usually very valuable and were often just for fun. Their boss told them to stop talking and focus on their mission to conquer the dungeon. Hours later, they found the remains of the falcon hunting group's captain, who had been defeated within just 48 hours. Shocked by the desiccated bodies of B-rank hunters who should have easily handled low-level monsters, they suddenly found themselves surrounded by a horde, realizing too late they had been lured deeper into the dungeon. Back with Ye Qing, abandoned by his group, he seized the opportunity to absorb more corpses, steadily gaining skills and points. His efforts culminated in unlocking the Novice Scavenger's milestone, after absorbing 50 corpses, earning him rewards: a basic necklace and dagger, disappointingly weak for his level. As Ye Qing scrutinized his meager rewards, a monster lunged from behind. With newfound strength and speed from leveling up, he dodged the attack effortlessly, no longer the vulnerable novice he once was. Confident in his enhanced abilities, Ye Qing countered with a powerful attack, followed by a precise dagger strike that slew the monster. Absorbing the fallen creature's corpse, Ye Qing acquired a new passive skill, Toxic Evolution, allowing him to transform potent poisons into healing elixirs. Testing his newfound ability, he drank a poisoned potion, converting it into a healing tonic that mended his wounds instantly. Impressed, Ye Qing realized the potential of his evolving skills. Reflecting on his progress, Ye Qing decided to bolster his intelligence further, knowing it would unveil hidden insights about his foes. Despite more monsters approaching, Ye Qing no longer feared them. He welcomed the challenge, knowing that defeating more monsters would make him even stronger as a scavenger in the dungeon. On the other side of the dungeon, the hunters fought desperately for their lives against the dungeon's boss monster and its minions. Most of them had already fallen. Though the minions were reanimated corpses and of lower level than the boss, they posed a formidable challenge to the hunters. Not to mention the boss itself, a man-eating flower of immense strength. Realizing they were outmatched, some hunters attempted to retreat, but the relentless onslaught of monsters made escape nearly impossible. Panic spread among the hunters as they struggled to catch their breath between waves of attackers. The monsters proved too powerful, picking off the hunters one by one. Among them, one hunter regretted his decision to enter this deadly dungeon for quick wealth and gear. Now facing imminent death, he made a selfish choice, to sacrifice his comrades as bait to secure his own escape. When questioned by his team, he callously fled, promising to burn incense sticks in their honor once he reached safety. He ran through the dark corridors, haunted by thoughts of what could have been. In his panicked flight, he collided with Ye Qing, drawn by the sounds of battle. Ye Qing, known for his mysterious abilities, confronted the fleeing hunter. He couldn't believe the hunter would leave his friends to die. Fearing repercussions if Ye Qing reported his cowardice to the supervisory committee, the hunter decided to eliminate him. However, upon turning, he noticed a trail of slain monster corpses behind Ye Qing. Astonished, the hunters asked if Ye Qing had defeated them all, to which he affirmed. Seeing Ye Qing's strength firsthand, the hunter hesitated. He suggested Ye Qing join them to fight the monsters together, hoping to save himself from both the creatures and Ye Qing's wrath. Ye Qing, angered by the hunter's betrayal of his friends, struck out impulsively. He broke the hunter's leg, leaving him in pain and disbelief. The hunter cursed Ye Qing, but it was too late. Writhing in pain, the hunter berated Ye Qing as a trash human, demanding an explanation for the assault. Driven by memories of how hunters had treated him when he was weaker, Ye Qing used his unique ability to absorb the hunter's strength. However, the system stopped him, saying he couldn't absorb humans like monsters. Instead, it upgraded his ability, allowing him to recycle useless abilities from others with their consent. Using a magical card he found, Ye Qing gained Flame Field Control, and upgraded his Fireball to Inferno Blast, making his magic even more powerful. Excited to test his new abilities, he unleashed Inferno Blast, destroying monsters effortlessly. But the spell was so strong it disintegrated the monsters, leaving nothing to absorb, a mistake he regretted. Suddenly, an assassin-like monster attacked from behind. Ye Qing, realizing he had no melee combat skills, absorbed a fallen hunter to gain a golden shield ability. With this new defense, he defeated the assassin. After the battle, Ye Qing absorbed the assassin's body, obtaining a dagger proficiency card that granted him the ability to wield daggers with finesse, launching a storm-like stabbing attack. Activating the card, Ye Qing now possessed yet another valuable skill in his growing arsenal. Now stronger and more skilled, he prepared to face the dungeon's challenges with renewed confidence. Inside the interrogation room, men in black suits were questioning a hunter who survived a dangerous dungeon expedition. They reminded him of his mission: find the Falcon group and bring them back alive. The hunter nodded, acknowledging the task's importance. They warned him that failure to find their bodies would mean no rewards for him. He reassured them he understood, already aware of the consequences. They asked if he found the Falcon group's corpses. The hunter's answer puzzled them. He had found them, but they had been recycled. Confused, the men asked what he meant. The hunter explained that Ye Qing had somehow absorbed their abilities and skills, leaving him reduced to level 1. This was unheard of, and the men suspected he might be hallucinating due to abyssal energy contamination. But the hunter insisted it was true, adamant that Ye Qing had drained them all. Meanwhile, Ye Qing was back to exploring dungeons to earn money for himself and his sister. He had sold magic crystals he found, but the black market took a big cut due to monopoly rules. Despite barely making enough to pay off old debts, Ye Qing was cautious about revealing his unique ability to recycle others' powers. He knew if the authorities found out, he could be locked up for study. So, he resolved to keep making money quietly until he could secure his sister's future. At another location, preparations were underway for a risky raid on a new B-rank dungeon. The leader warned of unknown dangers inside, promising high rewards for those brave enough to conquer it. Only high-ranking B hunters were allowed to join. Ye Qing, only level 1, stepped forward to ask if he could come along. The leader scoffed, calling him trash and saying he didn't belong with them. Just as it seemed Ye Qing would be left out again, Lu Xingran, a famous hunter from the powerful Lu family, intervened. She insisted Ye Qing be included to fill out their numbers. Despite objections, her family's authority over the dungeon's location gave her the final say. Relieved, Ye Qing felt grateful for her support. Ye Qing felt relieved as he exhaled deeply, but noticed Lu Xingran staring at him coldly. He wondered why she was looking at him like that until memories from 2 years ago flooded back. She had been in danger, surrounded by monsters, and he, despite being weaker, had rushed to protect her. Back then, Lu Xingran had been shocked that someone like Ye Qing, a trash picker, as she called him, could fend off dangerous beasts. During their conversation, Ye Qing had proudly celebrated his first demon kill and earned his very first experience point. Lu Xingran couldn't comprehend why he risked his life for just 1 experience point, looking at him with disbelief. He explained his ambition to level up and earn money. While she questioned his motives, Ye Qing remained focused on the valuable drops the monsters left behind, dreaming of selling them for profit. He challenged Lu Xingran's understanding of his difficult life, believing she couldn't comprehend his struggles because of her privileged background. When Lu Xingran asked him about his true reasons for wanting to level up, Ye Qing revealed his deep desire to protect his family. Touched by his sincerity, Lu Xingran promised to support him on his journey. She invited him to join her group once he improved his skills, sealing their promise with a handshake. Their conversation was interrupted by one of Lu Xingran's anxious aides, who urgently summoned her back to her father, the president. A stern bodyguard reminded Ye Qing of his status as a trash picker, and barred him from getting too close to Lu Xingran. As they left, Lu Xingran threw Ye Qing a material she had obtained from the dungeon beast, a token of gratitude for his earlier bravery. Ye Qing caught the gift with a grateful smile. He returned to his work with renewed determination, knowing he would continue to strive for strength and prosperity for the sake of his family. Back in the present moment, Ye Qing's thoughts drifted to the past, interrupted abruptly by one of the hunters approaching him. The hunter whispered that the woman Ye Qing had been watching was Lu Xingran, renowned among hunters. He was then told to focus on gathering monster materials, and Ye Qing agreed. With a stern reminder to focus on their task of gathering materials from monster drops, Ye Qing agreed wholeheartedly. Determined not to be a liability while keeping his gaze away from Lu Xingran, he received encouragement from her on his newfound resolve. She commended his mindset and urged him to prepare his gear as they readied to conquer the dungeon. All the hunters assembled and geared up meticulously. Ye Qing entered the dungeon with a newfound determination to earn money and return safely, recalling his previous dungeon exploits where he had acquired numerous skills and abilities, including shield warrior and berserk abilities. His unique method of distributing attribute points ensured no skill deficiencies, amassing over 100 points in total. In that instant, Ye Qing activated his skill, Observing Eye, allowing him to look at the attributes of his fellow hunters. One stood out with a mere 12 points in strength and a mere 1 point in intelligence. By comparison, Ye Qing boasted a staggering 100 points in strength, making him at least 100 times stronger than an average person. As Ye Qing assessed their strengths, a sense of impending danger washed over him. His instincts proved true as he swiftly detected a trap, a set of walls closing in rapidly. Before the other hunters could react, Ye Qing had already dismantled the trap mechanism. The sudden noise startled the group, turning their attention to Ye Qing, who appeared visibly shaken. When questioned about the disturbance, Ye Qing attributed it to the natural reverberations of the unstable underground structures. His explanation eased their concerns momentarily, as they understood the inherent risks of exploring such hazardous dungeons. Just then, one of the hunters stumbled upon a chest and excitedly alerted the group. They gathered around the chest, eager to unlock its secrets, but their enthusiasm quickly lowered when they realized it was an A-rank chest, only accessible to skilled assassin-type hunters. Disappointment hung in the air until Ye Qing stepped forward with quiet confidence. "I can open it," Ye Qing declared calmly, catching everyone off guard. Without hesitation, he approached the chest and, with practiced finesse, swiftly unlocked it. The lid swung open effortlessly, revealing its hidden contents. The hunters stared in disbelief as Ye Qing's ability defied their expectation. One of the hunters, astonished, remarked, "Lock-picking is a skill reserved for assassins above level 5. How can a level 1 scavenger open such a chest?" Ye Qing, quick to maintain his cover, spun a tale about his extensive experience scavenging dungeons, often encountering locked chests amidst the debris. He explained that over time, he had learned various skills out of necessity, including the art of picking locks. Impressed with what he did, the hunters accepted Ye Qing's explanation, and the focus shifted to exploring further into the dungeon. As they ventured deeper, Ye Qing's keen intuition once again proved invaluable. Sensing something amiss, Ye Qing abruptly halted the group and instructed a puzzled female hunter to stop. He grabbed a nearby stone and tossed it ahead. In an instant, the trap sprang to life. Walls lined with lethal spikes closed in, poised to impale anyone in their path. Ye Qing's swift action had averted catastrophe, saving the group from certain peril. Despite the narrow escape, the female hunter couldn't suppress her curiosity and wondered if Ye Qing was actually a level 1 hunter. Ye Qing responded calmly and told her not to overthink it, as he had dealt with these kind of traps many times in countless dungeons while scavenging, so it was natural for him to notice the traps. His nonchalant explanation convinced everyone except Lu Xingran, who remained cautious and observant, withholding her full trust. Nonetheless, the others respected Ye Qing's quick thinking and resourcefulness. Impressed by his skill, one of the hunters offered Ye Qing a modest ability as a token of appreciation. Despite this, some hunters still doubted his true abilities, but they agreed to move forward cautiously. After exploring for some time, they stumbled upon a hidden treasure room. The discovery sparked excitement among the hunters, who speculated about the riches it might hold. One of them suggested it could be a peaceful reward room, free from monsters. At the heart of the room sat a peculiar setup, a cup brimming with crimson liquid and a stone tablet inscribed with cryptic symbols. One of the hunters picked up the tablet, attempting to decipher its meaning. However, Lu Xingran, ever vigilant, warned them not to let their guard down. Her instincts proved right when the liquid began to spill from the cup, triggering a sudden announcement: the blood trial had begun. Panic seized the group as the room transformed into a trap, spawning the menacing, blood nightmare, before their eyes. Lu Xingran swiftly took charge, rallying the hunters for battle against the onslaught of monsters. Despite being surrounded, she led with determination, her skills tested to their limits. Meanwhile, amidst the chaos, Ye Qing remained remarkably composed. His mind raced with calculations, not of strategy against the monsters, but of how best to conceal his true abilities. Aware that revealing his full strength could raise suspicions among the hunters, he made a calculated decision. Quietly activating the Ring of Weakness, a seemingly harmless artifact that allowed him to suppress his attributes, Ye Qing chose to fight at only a quarter of his true power. It was a risky gambit, but he was determined to maintain the facade of a novice hunter. Even with his powers dampened, Ye Qing's agility and precision were unmatched. Using his Spirit Dash ability, he swiftly dispatched several monsters with precise strikes, earning surprised glances from his companions. Lu Xingran, amidst the chaos, couldn't help but notice Ye Qing's exceptional skill. Each move he made seemed deliberate and efficient, far beyond what his level would suggest. She filed away her observations for later consideration, focused on the pressing danger at hand. The monsters, cunning and adaptive, began to take on forms resembling the hunters themselves. Their ability to mimic and strengthen themselves based on their opponent's attributes made them formidable adversaries. In the heat of battle, one of the hunters suffered a severe injury, his arm torn by a monstrous version of himself. Just as the creature poised to deliver a fatal blow, Lu Xingran intervened with a swift and decisive strike, saving her comrade and dispatching the monster with lethal precision. Frustrated by the hunter's struggles against what she deemed inferior foes, Lu Xingran scolded them sternly, telling them that she did not enter the dungeon together with them just so she could rescue them when they were in trouble. She told them to pull themselves together and also told them that the opponents was not a true test of their strength. Despite her leadership, the situation grew dire as more monsters flooded into the chamber. Sensing an opportunity to turn the tide, Ye Qing took charge once more. Positioning himself protectively in front of his fellow hunters, he unleashed a powerful, Great Flame Explosion, a spell of remarkable potency for his supposed level. The hunters watched in awe and disbelief as the spell engulfed a cluster of monsters, reducing them to ash in seconds. Murmurs of disbelief and confusion spread among them as they could not believe that a level 1 hunter could wield such devastating magic. Seizing the moment, Ye Qing followed up with Shock, immobilizing the remaining monsters, and then activated Berserk, enhancing his speed and strength to swiftly dispatch those before him. In the midst of the chaos, a monstrous form emerged, one that bore striking similarities to Ye Qing himself. It was a king-level monster, infused with attributes absorbed from Ye Qing during their brief encounter. Realizing the danger of facing an enemy so closely mirroring his abilities, Ye Qing braced himself for a grueling battle of wits and strength. Just as he prepared to engage the monster, Lu Xingran stepped forward, her eyes blazing with determination. She told Ye Qing to step aside and that she would be the one to handle this. Her voice carried a rare intensity, born of ambition and a personal quest to conquer the deepest levels of the Tower of the End. Failure here would mean more than defeat, it would shatter her aspirations and familial expectations. Summoning all her strength, Lu Xingran unleashed a devastating, comet strike, aiming to shatter the monster's defenses. Ye Qing, witnessing her formidable display, felt a newfound respect for her abilities, impressed by her determination and skill. Despite her powerful attack, the monster stood unharmed before Lu Xingran. She couldn't believe her strength didn't affect it. Even though she was an S-class hunter, she always felt inferior to her older siblings who shared her surname, Lu. She had been mocked and laughed at by her family from the start, so she was determined to become stronger, even if it meant starting from scratch. Each challenge she faced was a stepping stone towards surpassing her limitations, a journey she undertook alone to forge her own path to strength. Determined now more than ever, Lu Xingran unleashed another relentless assault on the monster, pouring all her might into the attack. Yet, her fierce determination could not compensate for her current lack of strength, and she found herself overmatched by the relentless creature. The other hunters watched in astonishment as the beast dominated Lu Xingran, their fears growing that this could spell the end for them all. If even Lu Xingran, their strongest member, could be overpowered, what hope did they have? Seeing Lu Xingran struggling, Ye Qing made a decision to intervene, rushing forward to aid her. Despite her injuries, Lu Xingran couldn't help but feel a mix of frustration and gratitude towards Ye Qing for interfering in her battle. Ye Qing activated his observing eye ability to examine the monstrous creature for any weaknesses. Being at king level, the monster had developed resistance to abnormal conditions. At such high levels, it could even become completely immune to freezing, dizziness, paralysis, and slowness. Weak spots that were once vulnerabilities no longer posed any advantage as its level increased. Realizing this, Ye Qing decided to unleash his full potential, activating all his attributes. Despite matching the monster in strength, he found it immensely challenging to bring it down. Every part of its body he destroyed swiftly regenerated and no apparent weakness could be found. Suddenly, Ye Qing noticed a strange behavior in the monster, as if it were under some form of external control. Recalling a stone tablet with inscriptions that might hold the key to defeating the creature, Ye Qing urgently shouted to a nearby hunter to kick the tablet over to him. Responding swiftly, the hunter sent the tablet sliding towards Ye Qing. Utilizing his ability to decipher ancient languages, Ye Qing quickly uncovered a solution right before his eyes. He regretted not using his observing eye earlier. If he had, he might have found the clue sooner and avoided this tough fight. At that critical moment, the monster devoured the stone tablet, triggering an ability that rendered it invincible. Frozen in place, it puzzled the hunters, who were unsure why it had stopped all movement. Ye Qing quickly identified the situation, explaining that the monster had entered an invincible mode. Just then, Lu Xingran approached Ye Qing. She proposed that her ability could momentarily freeze the monster, allowing Ye Qing to locate its vulnerable spot. Understanding the urgency and complexity of the situation, Ye Qing acknowledged her suggestion, emphasizing that no challenge could be faced alone indefinitely. He proposed a collaborative effort, urging Lu Xingran to team up with him to strategize against the creature. Encouraged by Ye Qing's confidence and determination, Lu Xingran agreed with a smile, ready to contribute her skills to the effort. Other hunters gathered around, pledging their support. Ye Qing accepted their help, uniting them in a plan to take down the monster together. He briefed them that the monster's invincibility would last for 5 seconds before it entered berserk mode, where it would rampage for 30 seconds. Their goal: survive the rampage to have a chance at victory. With everyone on board, Lu Xingran took charge, directing a warrior-class hunter to provoke the monster while instructing a mage-class hunter to target its newly formed tentacles and shield Ye Qing. Under Lu Xingran's decisive leadership, the team coordinated smoothly. Ye Qing addressed the hunters, emphasizing that the stone tablet held the key to deciphering the blood test and defeating the monsters. Their immediate goal was to retrieve it from the monster's belly. Ye Qing volunteered for the difficult task, proposing a daring plan: he would enter the monster's belly himself to retrieve the tablet. Lu Xingran was taken aback by Ye Qing's audacious idea, but before she could object, he charged directly at the monster, determined to carry out his plan. Reacting swiftly, Lu Xingran instructed the archer-class hunters to target the ceiling with their arrows. The hunters quickly complied, sending a barrage that caused large debris to crash down onto the monster, dealing damage and aiding Ye Qing's risky attempt to retrieve the tablet. Taking advantage of the distraction, Lu Xingran used her frost abilities to freeze the lower part of the monster, immobilizing it temporarily and creating an opening for Ye Qing to approach. Ye Qing possessed extraordinary regeneration abilities, allowing him to swiftly heal minor wounds and shrug off the monster's sporadic attacks. He boosted his speed and defensive maneuvers, steadily closing the distance towards the monster. However, just as he was about to reach his target, the monster suddenly launched a sneak attack that caught Ye Qing off guard, dealing a powerful blow. The sight of Ye Qing taking such a hit left everyone visibly concerned. Ye Qing felt defeated and on the verge of giving up. Despite his increased strength, he couldn't shake the feeling of being worthless, believing nothing would ever change for him. But he refused to surrender easily. He refused to remain the weakling he once was. With newfound determination, Ye Qing activated his unique recycling ability. Everyone present was astonished by Ye Qing's newfound power. In a decisive moment, Ye Qing instructed the system to recycle him. However, the system couldn't recycle its owner. Undiscouraged, Ye Qing ordered the system to forcefully eject him from its body with all its might. The system complied, propelling Ye Qing with tremendous force directly towards the monster. He pierced through its body, retrieving the precious tablet lodged within. With the stone tablet in hand, Ye Qing deciphered the ancient script inscribed upon it, unlocking the key to completing the blood trial and vanquishing all the monsters in the vicinity. The hunters erupted in celebration, filled with joy at their success in completing the trial and ensuring their safety. As the atmosphere settled, each hunter present experienced a surge in their abilities, leveling up except for Ye Qing, who remained at level 1. This outcome didn't surprise Ye Qing as he knew that his maximum level was destined to remain unchanged. Just as the hunters celebrated their victory, a treasure vault emerged from the ground, filled with magnificent treasures. Excitement filled the air as they gazed upon the valuable artifacts. However, disappointment clouded Ye Qing's face as he realized that the treasures required a minimum level of 10 to be wielded, far beyond his current level 1. He reluctantly stepped back, unable to partake in the spoils. Seeing Ye Qing's disappointment, Lu Xingran approached him and declared that he, having contributed the most to the trial's success, should distribute the treasures. Ye Qing modestly declined, insisting he desired nothing. Yet, in a hushed exchange, he confided in Lu Xingran, asking her a favor. He proposed selling the treasures to her and the Lu family, as they were wealthy and he was in dire need of funds. He also requested that she keep his true capabilities in the dungeon a secret, allowing her to take credit for conquering it instead. Lu Xingran hesitated, puzzled by Ye Qing's desire to conceal his abilities. Nonetheless, she agreed to honor his wishes. Outside the dungeon, hundreds of men in black suits, Lu Xingran's bodyguards, waited anxiously. Time ticked by as they prepared to mobilize a rescue team for their absent leader. Just as they were on the verge of action, Lu Xingran emerged from the dungeon, accompanied by the other hunters. Relief washed over her bodyguards, their tension melting away at the sight of her safe return. Amidst the joyful reunion, a news reporter approached, eager to capture the moment. He congratulated Lu Xingran on her remarkable achievement in conquering the dungeon, seemingly on her own. Remembering her promise to Ye Qing, Lu Xingran gracefully accepted the praise, proudly affirming her reputation as an S-rank hunter. Privately, she wondered about Ye Qing's peculiar request to keep his role in the dungeon's success a secret. What drove him to insist on staying in the background despite his evident skills? The mystery of Ye Qing's intentions lingered in her thoughts as the crowd celebrated their victory and safe return. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, Ye Qing sat in the center of the blood trial room, his attention fixed on the ancient tablet before him. Suddenly, a small fragment of the defeated monster emerged from the tablet. Ye Qing's face lit up with a grin as he realized the potential it held. Even this tiny creature could become a source of strength for him. With his unique ability, Ye Qing absorbed the essence of the monster, enhancing his own power. After consuming the monster, Ye Qing unlocked a new ability called Nightmare Body. This skill allowed him to summon a spectral clone fueled by life essence, capable of mimicking his actions and absorbing or dealing damage once before fading away. Excited by this discovery, Ye Qing planned to further develop and improve this ability in the future. Content with his achievements in the dungeon, Ye Qing decided it was time to leave. Later, in a quiet coffee shop, he carefully examined the items he had obtained from his adventure. However, he realized that selling high-level items might attract unwanted attention from supervisors. Deep in thought about how to proceed, Ye Qing accidentally pressed a button on his device. To his surprise, this action triggered the automatic recycling of the weapons in his possession into basic points. Ye Qing was astonished to learn that he could convert these basic points into currency for repairs and enhancements. Without hesitation, he used these points to upgrade his older equipment. Not only were his weapons repaired to perfection, but they were also enhanced beyond their previous capabilities. Ye Qing was thrilled with the results, feeling well prepared for any future challenges. With his strengthened weapons and newfound abilities, Ye Qing left the coffee shop with a renewed sense of confidence. His strategic thinking and resourcefulness had proven effective once again, ensuring he was ready to face whatever trials awaited him next. That's all for today. If you do enjoy the video, please subscribe, like and share, and also share your thoughts in the comment section.